Okay. Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing good. So yeah, as the screen says, my topic is golden attack vector, which is multi-factor authentication system, and we are going to figure it out that did it work efficiently or not. Also, this is my first BSides talk, so forgive me for any mistake that I make during the talk. Yes, to introduce myself, I'm Parth. I'm a community leader at Bug Access, which you can see on my shirt as well. I'm a reader, I am a bug bounty hunter, and I code in Bash and Python. Last but not the least, I am security analyst intern at Sequence Security. So at Sequence, we work at API security, and some of our brands are T-Mobile, Verizon, Tinder, Victoria's Secret. Now, this all brand you have heard of. At the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you a QR code which can help you to find the attacker's perspective of your organization. So stay tuned. Let's get started. Yeah. Okay, so what is multi-factor authentication system? So that's a method which requires more than one verification. That is, when you give password, you have to give some personalized information which can help a system or a server to detect that it's actually you who are accessing that account. So what do you think? Did it work effectively or not? I guess no, because some of the new functionalities gives rise to some of new vulnerabilities. Some of them were 0 days as well. Recently, like around 2 years ago, there was a account takeover vulnerability on Facebook, like the Instagram thing, with the help of multi-factor authentication bypass. So I'm going to discuss about certain ways to bypass multi-factor authentication system. I also have live demos for you for around 3 to 4 ways to bypass, so you can see the real things in action. So yeah, so the first thing I want to discuss is the checkmate, which is the direct bypass. That how do attacker get easily access the system without changing literally anything. Okay, one of the bypass, the mitigation of checkmate, is changing the referrer header, which can be discussed later. Yeah, but this is how the checkmate or direct bypass works. So the normal user will have the root like web app, signing, multi-factor authentication system, and resources. But what does attacker do? He will go to the sign-in page, and with entering password and username, he will bypass the MFA by directly accessing /dashboard. So this way, the attacker can really bypass the MFA and access the resource. But the thing that server check is the referrer header, that from which website the /dashboard is coming from, and that a developer sets as /MFA or /OTP verify. Okay, now this can be changed. When you access the /dashboard, you can just put the referrer header, which I mentioned in the third point, to the target.com/OTP verify or whatever you can find, like the slash thing when you request it originally. Okay, so yeah. So now I have a POC for this, and it's really fun to see this. But okay, so next thing is the bypassing MFA using brute force. Now this thing is also known as trial and error method. And how do we do this? Using intruder. So those who are bug bounty hunters know what is intruder. So you can put multiple requests on the wall, like within 10 to 15 seconds, you can put 100 requests. So you can literally try each and every OTP sequence that user might be getting, like starting from 1111 to 9999, and user might get OTP like 3509, and that would be in that range. So you can get a bypass by checking the status code. So there are total 3 types of status code: 3xx, 2xx, and 4xx. 2xx is the success code, 3xx is the redirection code, and 4xx is the error code. Okay, so with the help of this, you can figure out that if you are getting the success code or the rejection code of the redirect code. Okay, now I'll be showing you the live POC that how this thing is working. So it's just 2 minutes. You guys will enjoy this. Okay, so I'm putting the victim's username. So MFA was used to decide that even if the attacker has username and password, they can still not access the account because they do not have the 2FA code or something. Okay. So here it is asking for 2FA. But as an attacker, I'll just reset the 2FA. So I'll wait for the code or the right code. So usually we don't have this. This is just for POC. So the right code is 7222. Okay, now in this functionality, we were having the array which was passed as a 2FA code. So I could literally pass any number of 2FA code I want to try in this reset MFA, and then with the help, and if the one 2FA code is right, I would get the correct response. So here I'll put 7222 in one of the array data. So I'll pass the wrong OTP. I capture the request. You can see here in the OTP parameter, there was an array object which was passed, which was 1111, which we passed, which is the wrong OTP. So I'll paste my payload here, which were having pretty much many OTPs that I would try. You can see as one OTP was correct, I could get the correct response from the server. So this is known as trial and error method, that I'm trying multiple OTPs. I don't know the true OTP, right? But I'm just putting as a POC 7222. So here I could just paste from 1111 to 9999. And if one of them is correct, then I can just have the access to the victim's account. And also the 2FA was disabled. I resetted the 2FA. So every time I need to access now, I don't need the 2FA code. I can just access with username and password. Yeah. So this was awarded $200 of bounty. It was pretty serious because I could, if I have a password which I can access from any social engineering attack or a click checking thing, or like getting access to password is pretty easy. So I could just do social engineering on the employee or the victim. Once I get password, I don't even need the right 2FA code. I'll just put from 1111 to 9999. And if the OTP is correct, I'll get the correct response. Yeah. The third one is a default token. Now this you won't find it many times on the web app because developers are pretty smart now. In earlier time back in 2017-18, we used to find this a lot because as a developer, you don't want to enter the correct OTP every time that you receive one SMS or time-based OTP because that will delay the testing purpose. So they created something known as default tokens, which means that every time for a tester or developer enters 0000, that is just an example, you will get the output correct because that was allowed. It was a 200 OK status. Okay. So this you won't find it every time, but yeah, it's still out there. Many developers forget to remove the default OTP, and the most common default OTP in my experience, which I have found, is 0000 and 9999 because developers don't want to write the correct OTP every time. Okay, the next important and the most exploited thing is response manipulation. Burpsuit is one such software which can help you to manipulate the response you're getting from server as well, which is pretty nice, pretty amazing. So as I told you before, there are three common response codes: 2xx, 3xx, and 4xx. 2xx is okay, 3xx is redirection, and 4xx is error. I have found this vulnerability last week only on one of the biggest IT company. I was not sure that it would be out there on this big company, but it was there. I could literally take over any account I knew. Now, it was serious in this case because these guys actually removed the password field. And what they did was, while you register, you gave a phone number and an email account. Now, every time while logging in, you put that email account, you'll get OTP on your phone number, which is registered, and then that you have entered. So the biggest mistake that I did was that I directly reported it. What I should have done was I could have literally taken the email ID of any person who is high up in the ladder, like maybe a senior director or a vice president. You can get that on hunter.io, like everyone knows that hunter.io. Okay. So once you have that, you don't even need their phone numbers. You can just put their email address, once they detail OTP, just put out wrong OTP and apply with the response code. And that is how we can bypass the vulnerability. So I got around $1,500 for this because I could literally do accounting for any user that were on their website. I have a live demo for this also, which I'll show in a while. So this is how the request look like. Post OTP verify, and you'll put out any OTP you want. Okay, it's just a random OTP which I put. Now, original response would be success is false because the OTP is not correct. But when I modify the request, which is true, then server won't check the thing. It will get that, okay, I'm getting success true. I'll just pass out the resources or the related resources on our true parameter. Okay. Now there is a mitigation to this as well, which I mentioned at the end when we discuss the mitigation part. Okay, so this is the POC which I would like to show you guys. It's little long POC, but it's like really important. You can find this bug as soon as this presentation is over. It's out there everywhere. So I do simple forgot. Yeah, so I get the confirmation code. So first what I'm doing is, as an attacker, I am getting my correct response. Like I would first get the correct response for my account, and then I'll copy paste the response or the correct response on the invalid response of the victim's account. Okay. So right now I'm collecting my correct response, that access I have to on my account request. Okay, so this is the correct response that we would be getting, which is the account that I have access to. Okay, let's wait for the correct. Yeah. So this is the correct response, that is 200. Okay. No, my screen. Sure. Yeah, so I'll copy paste that correct response, which I cannot show because I don't have the disclosure permission. Yeah, so I'll get the set new password, okay, which I don't have to do because that's my account. Now we don't use that response and we go to the victim's account directly. Yeah, so we change the username to victim. I have taken 2 email address. That was yeah. So we put any random confirmation code because we don't need that. We are playing with response here. So we capture response to this request. And now we paste the correct response that we got from our account, okay, which was 200. Okay. So with this method also you can take over any account you want. This was awarded bounty as well because no user interaction is needed. So you can just change the password. Yeah, put any password because it's 50 account. So they won't know that, they'll get an email that password is changed, but till they do the reset password again, you will have access to the victim's account, which is pretty nice. Though without any user interaction, you can do account takeover with this one. So that is why I feel that MFA, if not configured properly, can bring huge attack vector for your organization. Yeah, so hence you can see I was able to change the user password and gain access to the user account without any interaction. So now this is an unusual way to find bypass. You won't find this like this is not even a bypass. This is a basic logic flaw that you will be getting. So it's like you will create an account and you'll turn off the multi-factor authentication system. Now log out from that account, go to forget password page, and you will change your password. And if you're not asked the MFA code, that means that you are able to bypass it. Now, how you can able to bypass or why this is an issue. Now, if you are forgetting a password, that doesn't mean that you don't have access to your unique OTP device. If that's an SMS or a time-based authentication system, it shouldn't be like, okay, I forgot the password, then the system need to change the multi-factor authentication system as well, which should not be the case. So if an attacker even try to change your password in the earlier case, if it changed the password, then it should not have disabled the MFA. Okay. So this is a way to find out. This is a simple logic flaw that the server might be having or the organization might be having. And you should try. So many times bug bounty hunters or security analysts forget this type of bypass, this type of business logic flaw. That if a victim is if the user is just resetting a password, then you don't need to disable the MFA. That doesn't mean that user does not have an MFA device. Okay, now this is a good vulnerability. Definitely, as an attacker, it will take time for you to exploit this vulnerability because you have to create a CSRF response code, which is not the response code, CSRF web page, which is very easy to make using Burpsuit. But yeah, CSRF is used, or the cross-site request forgery is used to bypass certain restriction, and it forces the user to execute an action they do not intend to, means adding a product to a cart or resetting MFA or resetting password, deleting an account. All these type of vulnerabilities can be exploited with CSRF. Okay, so now let's check this bypass in action. There you can see when you scan the barcode, you will get this is a time-based OTP like Google Authenticator. So time expired when I was trying this. So. Okay. So when it is time-based OTP, you need to be pretty quick because every 60 seconds or every 30 seconds the code expires. Okay, so you can see now 2FA is enabled. Yeah. So if I want to disable, I'll capture the CSRF request, which I'll send to the attacker. So without any authentication, if the attacker clicks on submit button, then the 2FA would be disabled automatically. So this is the attacker's account. We'll get access to the POCs as well. And I have removed the target name because of the disclosure permission. So yeah. And each of these vulnerabilities is resolved as well. So you can try to find a bypass, then please report that and secure the account. So you can see now 2FA is enabled and I have the request to disable the 2FA. You all can see from POC that how can I make the CSRF form immediately with the help of Burpsuit. So I open this and I'll submit the request. So technically it should give me the error, but in this case it won't because I have logged into my account. And if I click the submit request, I'll get data. And when I check it here, when I replace the page, you can see the 2FA is disabled. So if I have the password for the account and I want that victim should disable the 2FA so I can gain the access, I'll just put a CSRF form with the help of social engineering. I'll send him a mail because I have the email already. And as soon as he clicks on submit request, and if the account is logged in, the 2FA will be disabled. Or what will happen if the user clicks on submit request and if he or she is not logged in, the login page would appear, they will log in, and as soon as they log in, the 2FA would be disabled. And that is how I can gain access to the victim's account. You can see it's enabled again. So yeah, need to receive. Yeah. So how to mitigate this type of vulnerability? Now there is bypass to everything. Like I believe that no system is perfect. There is always a bypass to each mitigation that a developer makes. So some of the mitigation are that ensuring that OTP verification is not happening on client side, it is happening on the server side. So attackers cannot play with the server side. If it is happening on the client side, we can easily bypass it, just like the first thing, which is the checkmate. That if it is happening on the client side, you can directly access the resource and you can bypass it. The second thing is OTP is not leaked in the response body. Now, what happens is that sometimes when you capture the send code button request and when you capture the response to the request, you will get a message saying that, okay, XXX OTP was sent to the mobile number this, which is the bad implementation. Okay. Now it might happen that when you are capturing that request, you'll find that the JS file is being loaded, any temporary .js file. And when you capture that request, you'll find that the 2FA is leaking in the JS body as well. So in any response body, OTP should not be leaked. And reused OTP should not be used. That is, how does that work? So you might have known the term shoulder surfing. So if I'm just passing by and if I know that, okay, this is my target and I know the OTP or the OTP which was used before, that OTP should be expired. In the second case, which we saw, the array thing. So even if the OTP was used and it is present in that array, the response would be 200 okay because you are allowing the reusation of OTP. And there should be a proper expiration time, which is generally should be 15 minutes because you don't know the delay of legitimate user receiving the OTP. Okay. So yeah, these are some of the mitigations that you should work on. Okay. Now, any questions? Then we might take any questions if you have. And yes, this is the QR code I was talking about. To gain a attacker's perspective of your account, you can just go to this QR code and register, and you'll get everything. What are the vulnerabilities that you are having? And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for joining in. And you can visit any of these. This is my personal website, parth.com, and my community, BSidesNCL. So if there are any questions.
I don't know if you can hear it. I suspect you cannot, but there was a nice applause. Does anybody have questions? Looking at them. There are no questions. So, okay, Parth, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.